We would like to say, we would like to go more in depth later on, but right now we would like to say that the evangelism of grace. First of all, I'm so sorry. Let me take time to introduce. Oh, I'm a little nervous. I would like to introduce all of our guests, and a special thanks to State Senator Napoleon Harris for allowing us to use his facilities today. And Carla Burris is from State Senator Harris's office. And we have with us from the Cook County Board of Review, Commissioner Larry Rogers' office, Dana Pointer, who will be our speaker, Kathleen Power, Erika Chambliss, Kenya Session, and Tahash, oh, I'm so sorry if I'm messing up your name, Tashana James. And from the city of Harvey, we have Wally Mohammed, who's a videographer, and Edward Steve, the trustee. And our team members from EOG, Janice Simon, Joy Scott, Aquila and Greg Herring. And EOG, it's called Evangelism of Grace. And what we do, we're spiritual in nature and civic and execution. And we are concerned members of this community, like you, who have decided to confront the institutional oppression and social inequities that have gone unaddressed for far too long. What is the evangelism of grace? The evangelism of grace is a spiritually focused initiative led by concerned members of our community who are striving to bring our community back to a place that is vibrant, safe, and nurturing. And we are seeking to engage the community at large and ultimately to become a unifying factor in the quest for consciousness and solidarity to create a community support system for sustainability. And how can you join to help? What are the steps to join this organization? Attend our next meeting to begin establishing our own community agenda and spread the word. And remember to vote and encourage others to get registered. And now I will turn this over to Dana Pointer. We'll get the date. The date is, I believe, I'll get the date later. I'm sorry.
Good evening, everyone. It's a little dark, so don't fall asleep, okay? I will make this as painless as possible and get as much information to you all as I can. Again, my name is Dana Pointer, and I'm here on behalf of Commissioner Larry Rogers, Jr. of the Board of Review. And again, I would like to thank these organizations for allowing us to come out and to educate you. Again, the Senator, as well as Mayor Riley Rogers, who's the Mayor of Dolton. All right? First things first, why do people want to appeal? That's it. That's the main reason that everybody wants to appeal their assessment, because they feel they're paying too much. So you guys are in the right place. All right. Another reason that people want to appeal is if they've recently purchased your property. So say you purchased your property in the past 3 years, that's what we consider a recent purchase. So say, for instance, you paid $150,000 for your property, and the assessor's office is assessing your property at $250,000. That's a discrepancy, right? So that would be a reason that you would want to appeal. If you recently have had an appraisal completed, that is evidence that you could submit. Some people may have refinanced. You'll get an appraisal with that. So that's additional evidence that you could submit. I don't tell people to go out and pay for an appraisal because they can be expensive. They can be between $300 and sometimes $600 for a residential property, and for commercial property, it can be thousands. Okay, so we don't tell you to go out and get it, but if you do have one that has been completed in the past 3 years, you can submit that to us as evidence. Okay. Also, too, if you have had a fire or flood, any type of damage like that, and you'll have an insurance claim, you may have a fire report, any of those things, those are other things that you could use as evidence, okay? Some people may be like, oh, gosh, I don't have that with me today. That's okay. We have envelopes. The staff has envelopes that we can give you. You can mail the things back to us, and we can match it up with your appeal. So if you don't have it today, we can work it out. All right. All right. The next thing I want to go over with you guys is you have a couple of options as far as it goes as appealing. All right. Your first line of defense is the assessor's office. All right. The assessor's office is the one that assesses the value on your property. So they're the first ones that you can appeal to. They also handle your exemptions. All right. Exemptions are very important because these are the things that can save you money. All right. The first exemption I want to tell you guys about is your homeowner's exemption. If you've been in your property, your primary residence, you can have a homeowner's exemption. Okay. Don't get any exemptions on your income property. So say you have an apartment building or something besides your home or whatever where you live, you cannot get exemptions on those properties, only your primary residence. If you do get exemptions on those and the assessor's office finds out about it, they're going to want a lump sum payment. And if you can't pay that in full, they can put a lien on your property. All right. So make sure whenever you're getting your exemptions, it's where you live. Okay. The next exemption I want to let you all know about is a senior citizens exemption. So if you're a senior and you're 65 years of age, you can sign up for the senior citizens exemption. Got to be 65, not 62. All right. Then they have another exemption for senior citizens on a fixed income. So if you're 65 years of age and your income is less than $65,000 a year, you can apply for the senior freeze. The senior freeze is one of the most beneficial exemptions that the assessor's office has. All right. Also, I tell my seniors, if you have been on your senior freeze for like 3 years, we recommend that you don't file with us. The reason being is that you may lose some of your exemption by filing with us. So seniors, especially those on a fixed income, we don't want to mess you up. All right. Because again, like I say, that savings is major. If you know anyone who has that, it really helps them out. That can be, keep someone in their home. All right. Another exemption is a disabled person's exemption. So if you have a disability, you can take the form to your primary care physician or your specialist to say what your ailment is, and then they can take a portion off for that. All right. And then also they have a disabled veterans exemption. All right. So if you are a disabled veteran with service-related disability, you can apply for that. As long as you have at the minimum of 30% disability, you can receive some type of deduction. If you're over 70% disabled from a service-related, disability, you pay no taxes. Okay. So these are some very important exemptions that you want to spread the news about and make sure that you're getting those things, okay? You can have, I'll take all the questions at the end. You can have up to 4 exemptions on your property at one time, okay? Some people don't know that. They think, oh, I have my homeowners and that's it. No. You can have up to 4. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. The one place that you can check is your second installment tax bill, okay? Can I see yours, sir? Because you came prepared. Pardon me. All right. So your second installment tax bill is yellow. Okay. The first installment is blue. The first installment is only a 55% estimate of what you paid the prior year. okay? Your second installment is where if you receive a reduction from the Board of Review, it'll be reflected on here. If you have any exemptions, you'll be able to check that on here, all right? When you look at your tax bill, you need to pay attention to a few things. At the top of your tax bill is where you're going to have all the identifying information about your property. So that's going to have your PIN number, your the tax year of the tax bill, what township your property is in. All of that is going to be at the top. Now, at the bottom is the portion that you need to pay a lot of attention to, because this is where all of your exemptions will be, all right? At the bottom of your tax bill, there is a box that says tax calculator, okay? Inside that box is where you will see if you're receiving your deductions for your exemptions. So if you look next to just say your homeowner's exemption and you see a $0 amount, what does that mean? You're not getting it, all right? So go home and check this if you don't have it, and make sure you check it every year. Okay, for the seniors who are on the senior freeze, you have to fill out that exemption every year. Now, I did hear that they're trying to come up with some legislation or something so that they don't have to do that, but I don't know that that has passed, so you're going to have to do it every year. All right, and usually the assessor's office will send the forms in the mail, but if you don't get it around January, the 1st of the year, you can give them a call. You can go on their website and print the information out. But you want to make sure that you take care of those exemptions every year. This is for Cook County. Yes, we're in Cook County. Okay. So the other thing that I want you to pay attention to in that tax calculator is your state equalizer, which changes, and also your local tax rate. Your local tax rate matters a lot, because that can be the difference between you affording a home and not being able to afford a home. And sometimes when people go into closings and they're going to purchase properties, you know, they go in like, wow, this is a great sale, great deal. And then you may be buying from a senior citizen. This senior citizen could have been on that senior freeze for 15, 20 years. And guess what? Their taxes are quite low. So then you're going to buy it. They're not going to talk about that either, okay, because they want to, you know, get the sale and get things going. And some are educated on it and some aren't. But you have to do your due diligence. So say, for instance, you buy from a senior and you're thinking your tax burden is going to be, just say, $1,200. You're like, oh, my God, this is great. I can afford this. This is within my budget. For the first year after purchase, you're going to have that senior's deductions. So that first year, you're going to be feeling great, enjoying your home. Then that second year, you're going to get hit in the head. You're going to lose every exemption. So you're going to go to full value as though it's an income property. So then at that point, you have to go into the assessor's office, fill out the forms, take your ID and stuff to show, hey, I purchased this property. Here's my closing documentation. I need to get my homeowner's exemption at least. Okay. And then, like I say, in some areas, the tax rates are so high, you may be out of a home. For instance, in 2018, the Park Forest, you guys know where Park Forest is? They have the highest taxes in Cook County. Their tax rate is 34.7%. The city of Chicago, and that's just the average. So some places are a little higher than that and some are a little lower. So like for the city of Chicago, the average tax rate is about 6.7%. So for instance, if you buy a home in the city of Chicago, just say for $100,000, just say you're paying about $2,500 for taxes. That person in Park Forest, they're going to be paying about $12,000. Just so you can wrap your mind around that. So these are things that you definitely want to pay attention to when purchasing properties, and also looking at your tax bill so that you can compare it to the prior years, okay? Also, too, the clerk's office, they also have an annual report that they print. And it's about 150 pages, but you can go through and look for your particular township, city, or whatever, and you can see what the rates have been over the past 3 years. So you can compare those. But those are things to pay attention to. And that's why appealing with us at the Board of Review, as well as appealing with the assessor's office, is trying to combat that rise, because those things usually go up. They do go down sometimes, but they go up more than they go down. All right? We'll talk about that. But the one thing, the reason that some of these places are paying more is because they do not have enough commercial and industrial properties to pick up the bulk of the tax rate. So when you're talking about commercial properties, they're assessed at 25% in comparison to residential properties that are assessed at 10%. And then when you go out into some of these areas, these businesses are getting tax incentives to come to the area. Okay, so they're getting this incentive and they're not paying as much because they're trying to entice them to come to the community for more revenue, right? So once they lose that little exemption they have, what do? They move and they go somewhere else where they can get the tax incentive, because it's only for a certain amount of time. Okay, so those are also things to think about, you know, when thinking about the taxes and stuff for your property. Those are all things that come into play. All right. Again, you guys, this is Thornton Township, right? Also, too, we have the Thornton Township assessor, Cassandra Holbert, that just walked in. She is your ears and eyes. She's the lady you want to see. Her office in her office is in South Holland, so you guys can go to see her for any assessor issues, for your exemptions, any of that stuff. She's the lady to see. Okay? Her staff is very friendly, they're approachable, and they're helpful. Okay? So if you're in Thornton Township, that is the lady to see. Also, too, you can go to the Markham Courthouse. They also have an assessor's office there. All right. So those are some of your options. All right. Also, too, one other thing at the board, we also open up in July. That is when we open up every township in Cook County during the month of July. So I always tell people, if you want to always remember when we're going to start this process, July. You get your tax bill in July, right? And then it's due August 1st. So when you get that tax bill, you can start checking our website, or if you're on our texting list, you can get the text messages from us. And I'm going to go through that momentarily. Can I get a packet really quick? Can I get a packet? Thank you. Okay. So one thing, Cassandra, I know you want to come up for a minute really quick, because I know you got to. She hates when I do this to her. I want to get her to say a couple words. I've worked with Cassandra on several occasions. She is amazing. She's very knowledgeable. She's out here in the trenches with the people, trying to make sure everybody gets what they need. So I want to give her a couple minutes, and then I'll get back to my stuff. I talked about your stuff already.
See, okay, she made it real easy. So my stuff, I bring 30 years of experience from Cook County, where I was employed with Cook County Assessor's Office. I was an industrial commercial field inspector and an analyst, so kind of know the ins and outs. But this lady right here with the board review, she's wonderful, she's remarkable, and I'm glad she's here helping the residents here in Thornton Township. Thank you, baby.
Thank you. And again, her office is in South Holland. You can always stop by, all right? Now, did everybody get a form when they came in? Okay, this is your application to appeal with us at the Board of Review, okay? You see, it's a one simple page form. People are like, oh, do we have to pay for this? No. You pay taxes. This is our job to at least review it, all right? Another thing with the Board of Review, if you file with us and just say we look at information and we see that your assessment should be higher, we're not going to raise you. Either you stay the same or you get a reduction. All right? You're not negatively penalized for filing with us at the board. So I always make sure to tell people that so they're not fearful. All right? You can file. We will leave you alone or reduction only. All right? So I'm going to go through this form really quickly to make sure you fill it out right. The one thing, please make sure you sign this form. Please sign the form. Everybody hear me? You don't know how many times people don't sign the forms. And then I have to mail it back or call you, and it'll be a mess. So let's just make sure you sign it. At the top, the first portion, it says name of appellant. You guys are the appellant. Does anybody need a pen? Everybody got a pen? Okay, we need some pens. Anybody need forms? You need a separate form for every property you have. Any extra forms, raise them high. Kenya, can we get a couple forms? If your property has 2 PIN numbers, do you need 2 forms? No. So if you have, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to go through the whole form for you guys. We got a couple, you need a pen or a form? Form up here? Yes, you can. Okay. So at the top, again, it says name of appellant. That is you. Underneath there, it says address of appellant. This is where you want all your mailing correspondence sent to. Okay? Please make sure you put a phone number as well. All right. Under that, it says location and identification of real estate. So if you are appealing on your mailing address, that you have at the top, you can check same as above. If you're appealing another address, you can put that address on the line with the city and the township. Underneath there, it says PIN number, permanent index number. If you brought your tax bill, your PIN number will be on the top of your tax bill. Some people know their PIN number by heart. So if you know it by heart, write it on down, okay? If you have more than one PIN number, as the lady was saying, some people have 2 PIN numbers. Your property may be on 2 lots or, something like that. Or if you have a condominium, you may have 2 PINs, one for your unit and one for parking. So if you look over to the side, there is lines numbered 1 through 5. You see that? That's where the second PIN will go. The first PIN will go where it says permanent index number, and the second associated PIN would go on line number 1. Okay? The next portion says description of property. If it is a single family home, you're going to check single family home. If it is a 2-flat, you would check 6 apartments or less. Whatever type of property it is, please check that box. Now, if you have purchased your property before 2016, we do not need your purchase date and price. But if you purchase after 2016, please put that information down. Next, it says status of appellant. You guys are going to be the owner, all right? Some of you may be a beneficiary or an executor of the account. You can check whatever box you identify with. Okay, the next question, it says, do you plan to submit additional evidence? So remember some of the things we were speaking about earlier, appraisals, things like that. If you had water damage, those are things that we would consider as evidence. Also, too, if you had comparable properties, you could submit that. So people say, what is a comparable property? A comparable property is a property that is similar to yours, that their assessment is lower. Okay, so when we're looking at comparables, we want to look at age. So if your property is new construction, we don't want to compare that to a 100-year-old home. Okay, if your home is 1,500 square feet, I don't want to compare that to a 6,000 square foot home. I want to find something as similar to your property as possible. Okay, if your home is brick, if you have siding, all of those things, we look at that. And when we're looking at comparables, we want to look within a 1-mile radius of your property to see what's going on in the area. Okay. We also look at sales data. Like I say, if your property was recently purchased, we can look at that. And then we can also look at sales data within your community. All right. Some areas, the only thing that's trending is what? Foreclosure sales and short sales. Those are things that cannot be ignored. Okay, those are things that we do take into consideration. All right, just making sure you guys know that. Okay, back to the form. There is red writing that says, I request a hearing before the Cook County Board of Review. So pretty much, if you guys want to come downtown to City Hall, you can visit me or some of my coworkers back there, and then you're going to come and state your case. Exactly. So and then wait, don't forget about parking. Parking is 38 buckaroos. Okay? So even if you're there for like an hour, hour and a half, $38, okay? So you really don't have to do that unless you have some extenuating circumstances and you really want to come and let us know what's going on. When you come to the hearing, we're expecting you to come with your ducks in a row. We want to see your evidence. We want to see why you feel that you should, deserve that reduction. But we can do the work for you. So if you want us to do the work for you, do not check that box. If you want a hearing, check the box and you'll get a letter in the mail to let you know when and what time, the date and all of that to come downtown for the hearing. Okay? Also, too, some people say, oh, I've gotten some solicitations in the mail from some attorneys, saying that they can save me some money and they can do this and they can do that. And I tell people it's totally up to you, but your probability is no better with them. Okay? And then on top of that, guess what? They're going to charge you 30 at the minimum, 33 1/3%. In some cases, 50% of your savings. Okay? So those are things you need to think about. Of course, you can do that if you would like, but you don't have to. That's why we're here, to get the information and do the work for you. All right? All right. And then the most important thing that I told you guys to do was what? Sign the form. Right. So at the bottom where it says signature of appellant or attorney, that is where you're going to sign. Now, Dolton Township, we don't have a date yet for when they're going to open, but it's going to be within the next couple of weeks. So if you do want to take your form home, we have some envelopes. You can bring, mail it back to us, or you can leave it here with us. If you didn't bring your tax bill and you don't have your PIN number, we can look it up for you. Okay? So it's totally up to you if you want to do that or not. All right? And then that's the gist of that form. Let's see if I don't want to forget anything. Anybody have a condominium? Any condos? No condos. Anybody have commercial property? Commercial property. Okay. So for commercial property, if your property is in your name, then you can file an appeal with us today. If your business is in a LLC or any type of entity like that, you must have an attorney. And that is per the board rules. Okay. If your property is owner occupied, then you need an appraisal. The appraisal has to be completed within the past 3 years. If you have income property where you have a lease agreement or rent, any of those things, we want to see a rent roll, your lease agreements, and also your scheduled leads from the government to see what monies you're getting in. So those are just a few of the things that are needed for a commercial appeal. Also, too, when you guys came in, you got this little form here. Inside here is the information about commercial and residential properties and what type of evidence is needed. So you can always use that as a reference. Also, too, you guys got a trifold when you came in. Inside this trifold has the phone number to the assessor's office and other information that we kind of discussed today. All right? Another thing I want to let you know, I had mentioned to you all about our texting service. Commissioner Rogers has a texting service where if you were coming to this event tonight, you would have gotten a text message, and it'll tell you the date, time of the event. And also we send out text messages to let you know when townships open and close. So you don't have to worry about missing those deadlines. So you'll be getting a text from me and say, hey, Dolton Township, whatever townships are opening, so you know that you have 30 days to handle whatever you need to get done. All right? In order for you to do that, you are going to text the phone number 474747. Once you text that number in the message area, if you want to join the texting list, you're going to text Easy Join, EZJOIN. Again, it's right on this packet. So you can look right on here, all right? Once you do that, you'll get a response to let you know that you've been added to the service, and then you will begin to get the texts, okay? Also, if you want to file an appeal on your phone, you can do that too. We try to make it as easy as possible. Some people are really tech savvy and they like to do stuff from their phone. You have that option as well. You're going to text the phone number 474747, and you're going to text the word file, F-I-L-E. Once you do that, you'll get a link sent back to you. Click on that link, and then you can go ahead and fill out your appeal, okay? You can also go, I'm sorry? On your cell phone, yes, you might have to go to a computer to upload some larger files. Okay. Now, again, you can go onto our the Board of Review website to file your appeal as well. So we try to have as many options as possible for everybody to appeal. We always like to have the actual paper forms as well, because some people don't have access to the internet and some people just don't like to deal with it anyway. So we try to have as many options available. And then again, one of the other important things that I tell people is to share the information that you learned today. We don't like to share information. Sometimes, you know, you get a reduction and you want to hold it to yourself and you don't want to say anything because you want to make sure that you keep getting what you got to get. But there's enough to go around. We have to help each other and we have to educate each other, because sometimes when people hear stuff from me, they may not trust me. But if they hear it from you and you've had a success story, that matters. So you need to share that, okay? And again, too, make sure you get your exemptions. If you didn't bring your tax bill, go home and look at your second installment tax bill. Also, too, the assessor's office can go back up to 3 years. So say, for instance, you look at your tax bill and you say, oh, man, I don't have these exemptions. And say you look over the past couple years, they can go back 3 years and they'll cut you a check. Okay? So pay attention to this. Also, too, on here is an important messages box. And if you look in there, you might say you deserve a refund. But the font is like a 6. So you got to kind of look a little hard. But these are the things you have to pay attention to on here. All right. If you find out that you weren't getting an exemption that you were supposed to, you go to the assessor's office, either, like I told you, Cassandra Holbert, or to Markham, and you ask for a certificate of error. You got it? A certificate of error. That allows them to go back and give you those exemptions. Once that is approved, you'll get a check in 90 days. All right. So those are some of the things that I want to make sure that you know. I'm going to open it up for Q&A now. And thank you all for listening and being patient. Yes, ma'am.
Years ago, they used to have a list in one of the newspapers of all of the properties with the assessed valuation, so you could go through and check. Like years ago, they used to have in one of the local newspapers all of the assessed values of all the properties in each of the areas. So you could go and check things to find out properties like yours and how they were assessed. We haven't seen that for years.
You're not going to see that. You have to go to the assessor's website, and then you can look at comparable properties on there. Those are some of the options that you have, but since I've been doing this, I have not seen that. Yes, ma'am.
Earlier this year, there was some checks that was cut if you paid too much on your taxes. But some of the communication talked about you being able to appeal for prior up to 20 years. Was that not true?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
I know that the assessor's office goes back 3 years
That I know.
for any of those exemptions. Now, something else that that other places are offering, I can't speak on that because I'm not familiar.
Okay, because I know if you went on the website, it talked about that. But if there was no way to go back, it only went back the 3 years that you spoke of.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just thought maybe you had some.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Pass right. Oh, okay.
Right.
I just wanted to know the address to Cassandra's office. It's under construction.
Oh, I have to let me look it up. I'll
Okay.
look it up while I'm taking other questions, and
Okay,
then I'll
thank
tell
you.
it to you guys. Yes.
Hi. When you were talking about damage to property, a damaged property that could lower the tax bill, I have a roof. What if you have a bad roof and nobody seems to be able to fix it, and now the ceiling is buckling and such?
Okay, the roof is pretty much, that's wear and tear on your property. But now if you're, just say for instance, your roof caved in from a storm, or you know, something like that, to where your home was uninhabitable and you couldn't live there for some period of time, then that would be, you know, a situation that you can use. But if it wasn't something like that, that may not work for you.
Okay, and then what we're doing here tonight is filing an appeal, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But isn't there another process you can go through? Is it with the Board of Review?
No. So you're gonna first, you can start with the assessor's office. That's your first line of defense. You can do your exemptions and you can file an appeal with the assessor. So that's your first line of defense. Then you can come to us at the Board of Review. Okay, we're the second line of defense. And then if you're dissatisfied with us, you can go to the Property Tax Appeal Board. That process can take much longer. That can take a couple of years before you receive answers back, but that is another option that you have. Those are the options for appealing your assessment.
And what if you miss the cutoff day for the first line of defense?
The first line of defense, if you miss that, that's why you come to us. So it's not a prerequisite to file with them in order to file with us. But if you want to go to the third step, which is the Property Tax Appeal Board, you must file with us. That's how you secure your ability to file with them, by filing with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, that's not it. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm getting the address. What? Let me see. No, that's it. You're right. Okay, so Cassandra Holbert's address to the township assessor. Thank you. It is 333 East 162nd Street in South Holland. Okay? Again, 333 East 162nd Street, South Holland. The Township Hall. Yes. 900, okay, 900 East. That's the one I had, yeah. Yeah, because, right, yeah, they have a little. So it's 900 East 162nd Street, Unit 2142. Yes. So once you go into the building, there'll be a guy sitting there, and the assessor's office is right behind there.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that mix-up. Thank you, ma'am. Cassandra Holbert. Holbert.
Just real quickly, when does it close for Thornton for you to file?
With us? I don't have a date yet. So the way we get our dates is through the assessor. So once the assessor's office opens up their period of time, they go ahead and analyze the files. Then they do a re-review. They go through their whole process, and then they have to certify the towns. Once they certify and publish the towns, then they give them to us. So I don't know the date yet, you know, and it's not the same every year. So if it was the same every year, I could say, okay, well, every June or every November will be your month, but that's not the case. So that's why, again, I encourage you guys to join the texting list, because I will text you out as soon as we find out that the towns are opening. We'll text that out. You can also look on the Board of Review website, on our website, www.cookcountyboardofreview.com. Again, all of this is in the information that I gave you, and you'll be able to see the townships that are open as well. He's coming around with the microphone.
I'm just wondering, for the form,
Uh-huh.
Where it asks, do you plan to submit additional evidence, yes or no? Well, how should we answer that? Is it?
Were you listening to me? No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
did I miss that?
No, I'm
sorry.
teasing. No, so for the additional evidence, again, you got to make it light. Let's lighten it up, you know? Don't want to be too serious.
Okay.
But no, for the additional evidence, that is if you had the appraisal, if you have comparable properties that you've been researching, sales data. Again, the lady was asking about damage to the property, all of those things would be additional evidence. But if you just want us to do the work for you, then you can just check no, and we'll do the work for you. You don't have to worry about sending anything in. But if you do have things, you do have that option. And then we have some envelopes right at this table here that we can give you, and it comes directly to my office.
Because I didn't know if I should get compared.
You don't have to. That's why we're here. So we'll do the work for you. But like I say, some people do have evidence and things they want to submit. So we always give them the opportunity, you know, to do so. Yeah. Yes.
So for the senior freeze, you mentioned that you have to apply for it every year.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
She went out of time.
Repeat the question.
Oh, okay. So the question was about the senior freeze. And you asked, do you have to fill it out every year? Yes. So you do have to fill it out every year. And usually the assessor's office mails you the paperwork the beginning of the year. So usually around January, you should be getting that paperwork. If you don't get it by like February, I would say just give them a call, go to Cassandra Holbert's office, or you can download it off the assessor's website and fill it out at home. Okay?
Yes, I had a question here. I had filed an appeal on a property, and it was a recent purchase, and I purchased it a lot less than the value that the county, the assessor had. I filed through the assessor and the board of review, and I noted that it was a recent purchase, but the board of review, both of them ignored me purchasing the property recently.
Okay, well, I can't say because I haven't looked at the property, but when we're looking at recent purchases, if the transaction was not arm's length, we're going to consider it, but we're also going to look and see what's going on in your community. So say, for instance, you paid $50,000 for your property, and then this gentleman had a house 2 houses down and he paid $200,000, and then she paid $100,000. We're going to look at all the sales to see what the market is in the area. So I don't know what particularly happened. I don't know. I can't say, but I would definitely tell you to file that appeal again. Is it still within the 3-year window?
Yes.
Okay. So when you purchased it, did you get an appraisal?
I don't think so.
Did you pay cash?
Yes.
Okay, that's why. Usually when you don't pay cash, the banks are going to give you an appraisal because they're only going to approve you for a certain thing. So in that case, you don't have the appraisal as additional evidence to kind of state the value of the property. So it's kind of a tough situation. Like I say, I would have to look at it. I can't tell you just offhand because I haven't worked the file. So if you want, myself or some of the staff can speak to you later to kind of see what the deal is, what was going on.
Yeah, but I have one other quick question. Properties, I have a couple of properties, and one in particular is in an area where almost all the other properties on that street is abandoned or tore up. And this is the highest property that I pay taxes on. I've been appealing this.
Where is it?
It's in Harvey.
Oh, that's why.
It's in Harvey.
That's why. In Harvey, Harvey is tough. It's tough. It's a lot of vacancies out there. It's not generating a lot of money. And because that's not your primary residence and it's considered an income property, you're taxed higher.
Yeah, but I have another property, and one of them is this property that's on the street where mostly all the other houses abandoned is a comparable property another property that I have, which is a lot lower. They use that property as a comparable.
Like I say, I don't know. I have to look at it and see. I can't just tell you just off the top of my head about the property until I do some research. So again, like I say, because it is income property, that's one thing that you have kind of counting against you. One thing that you can also do is take some pictures of those vacant properties that are around your property. And then what you can do is you can submit those, get an envelope. Okay, well, and everyone will not be successful. So, but our approval rating is much higher than the assessor's office, and we do make changes as much as possible. So like I say, if you want to speak to someone about that in particular, we can, and try to, you know, see if there's anything else that can be done or any additional evidence that we could, you know, help you find. Okay?
Hi.
Yes.
I wanted to know first, if filling out this form, does the homeowner has to be the one to sign this?
You have to be on the deed.
Okay, and then next, is all of this the exact information? Say, for example, on the portion where it says, do not list, I don't have my glasses on.
Do not list comparables below.
Correct. Thank you. That's for putting the other homes on there, correct?
Incorrect. It says do not list comparable properties. So what that section is for is, say you have 2 PIN numbers for your property. You're going to put one under the location and identification section, and then on the numbers 1 through 5, you'll put your other PIN number for that one particular property. We don't want any comparables on here. So if you want to submit comparables, you submit it on a separate sheet of paper.
Okay, and final question is, if this is done online, then you say, then do I have to submit comparables online, or?
No, you don't have to. It's still the same process. It's just online.
Okay.
And then too, if you do go online, make sure that you set up a username and password. Okay? If you don't set up a username and password and you go in as a guest, you won't be able to go back in there later. So really it's pointless. So if you do go online, set up a username and password, you can go back and see the process over time. And if you want to go back in and upload something, you'll be able to do that.
Okay, and so you all will do the work and do the comparisons for when it's online. You all do the comparisons.
However you appeal, whether by text, online, piece of paper, come into the office, where we will do it for you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And then this lady asks, I know some people may want to leave. If you want to leave and you want to drop off the form, just stop at this table here, and the staff will collect your forms and look it over before you leave to make sure it's all right. Okay? Any more questions? You got? Okay, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Once you get your certificate of error, how long does it take for your tax bill to be adjusted?
If a certificate of error is going to get you a refund, you get a refund in 90 days.
And so would you get an adjusted bill in the mail?
You're gonna get a check in the mail for in 90 days for whatever the amount that you overpaid, and then at that point, because you get reassessed every 3 years, so the assessor reassesses every 3 years, looking at sales data and other things as well. So I'm not sure if they were going to send you a corrected tax bill. I don't think that may happen. But what you want to do, you can stop at Cassandra Holbert's office, or at the Markham Courthouse. You can call one of them, and they're the ones that print those things, so you can get that information from them. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I am with Rich Township. Can I turn this form in with you?
Yes, you can, because Rich Township is still open. I don't know where you are, who's talking.
Back here.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, so Rich Township is still open as well, so you can file that appeal today. Okay, if you live in Bremen Township, you can file your appeal for Bremen Township. Bremen closes December the 3rd. We do have a date for that. So Bremen closes the 3rd of December, so you want to make sure you get that in a timely manner. Now, the one thing with the dates, once we give you that hard date, that's it. So if you try to turn something in December 4th, no, you're going to have to wait until the next year. So when you do get the texts from us, or you do find out when your township opens, be sure to adhere to those dates. Even if you do it on the last day, you have to hand carry the envelope to the post office and make sure they postmark it for that day. That's your guarantee by mail.
One more question.
The
senior citizen exemption, do you have to fill out a certain form for that? Or
yes,
what?
all of the exemptions, you have to fill out forms. You do that with the assessor's office. So you can get those online, or again at Cassandra Holbert's office or the Markham Courthouse.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
One more question over here.
Okay, and then I will let Mayor Riley Rogers come up I just saw him arrive. Yes.
Okay, you said they do the assessments every 3 years?
Yes.
So do you fill out this form every year?
That's
or-
right.
Okay. So
Every
if-
year.
If your taxes do go down, I guess per the assessment, are you due for a check because it went down? or
No. So whatever we do, we're going to lower your second installment tax bill.
Okay.
But anything like prior years, that's when you get a refund because you would have already paid it.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Okay.
So this is like moving forward.
Okay.
Your usually, if you get a reduction from us, your second installment tax bill will be less than your first.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Last question here, and then I'm going to have. Oh, okay.
Once one find out, once you become 65, do you automatically see the exempt on your tax form?
No. You have to fill it out.
Okay, thank you.
So you have to go to the assessor, you take your ID, and you go in there and fill out the paperwork, and they'll take it from there.
Yeah, a friend of mine, she didn't know
Yes.
for about 4 years.
Oh, yes.
And she was like, Maxine, I didn't know that.
Well,
So
she can get back 3 years. She can't get all 4 back, but she can
Right.
get 3.
They sent her a check.
Yep.
And she didn't know.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank
a lot of people don't know.
That's right. So
I
that's
asked
why
that
you got to do
question.
what? Share
Share
the
the
information,
information.
right? So,
Amen.
yes. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you turn your paperwork in. And again, thank you to Senator Napoleon Harris and also Mayor Riley Rogers for having us, as well as and Evangelism for Grace for allowing us to be a part of this. Mayor Rogers is going to come up. You can take this one.
Good evening, everybody. These forms like this are brought to you to assist you in your property taxes. A lot of times we get calls in the village of Dolton, say, hey, Mayor, my property taxes went up. We're not responsible for that. The responsibility lies on Cook County. Now, today, you have to, Thornton Township is not open yet, is it? Okay, Thornton Township is not open. How would the residents know when it opens?
Texting service. Remember we talked about the texting service. You can also go to the board website. You can also go to the board website as well. Again, the texting service, 474747. Text the word easy join. You will get those messages. You can also go to the Cook County Board of Review website to see those things as well. So that's our means of communication. So as long as you do that, you will get the info.
Okay, another thing. No, we're not talking about the building. We're talking about the appeal process, okay? So another thing that you want to do is you want to check at the Cook County Treasurer's Office. We had Treasurer Maria Pappas out a few weeks ago, and some of our residents wound up getting huge refunds because they overpaid their property taxes and they failed to file for the exemption. Now, if you've overpaid your property taxes, you can collect up to 3 years back. If you have not filed for the exemption, you can go 20 years back. The first day that they came into the village, we had our employees go to their what am I trying to say? Oh, where they set up at, right in Village Hall. We had our employees go there first. Our first employee that went there found out that he failed to file his exemptions, and he got $2,600 back. Those refunds are usually returned to you within 8 weeks. In the other one, if you've overpaid your taxes, it usually takes a little bit longer. But you want to check with the treasurer's office. Also, while you're here, you might want to check down there with iCash to see if you've overpaid anything, see if any of your relatives left you any money in a safe deposit box. So that gentleman down there can tell you, he can put your name in, you can put your relative's name in, you can put your neighbor's name in, tell your neighbor, hey, I found you got some money, I want half of it. So, there's so many resources that you can check and see, in fact, if you have money coming back. Not only that, if your parents was in the house, mother, father passed away, you're the inheritant or the beneficiary, put their name in there. Aunt Annie's name in there. Find out if there's any money coming back so they can get the refund and or who's entitled to it. Cook County Treasurer's Office. Cook County's Treasurer's Office. And check down there with the gentleman down there. He can put your name in, child's name. If you, I started an account for my son when he was 6 months old. I think I put $25 in it, forgot about it. I put my name in there, put his name in there. They said there's over $100 in there because of the interest that it built up, and the bank had turned it over. So it's free to check.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And also we have AARP and New York Life over here. Edna, she has a great program and some offers for you. And we also have ComEd over here with their efficiency program, and they can help you out with a lot of stuff. You can set up appointments to have some things done. So definitely stop at some of our vendors and check some stuff out. All right, and again, thank you all so much.
Okay,
yes,
Jacqueline Franklin's here from Commissioner Donna Miller's office.
Yes.
She just wanted to say a few words. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Commissioner Miller sends her regrets she was not able to be here with you. We have success stories also, like Mayor Rogers gave. We sent out senior letters. I just had a success story in South Holland. A lady just got back $9,000. She was about to lose her house. So you have to check the treasurer's website. And if it's money out there, fill out the certificate of error so that you can get the money back. So we're also in our office, we're looking at the exemptions. We're looking at the treasurer's report also. So we're also sending out letters. So if you get a letter from Commissioner Donna Miller, please don't throw it away. If it's regarding your taxes, just call our office and we are more than happy also to help you. We've been trained well, so thank you, thank you. So everybody, have a great evening.
Hi, my name is Carla Burris, and I'm with Senator Napoleon Harris's office. And I want to thank Joyce Scott, I think she's downstairs manning the door, with the Evangelism of Grace, because she's the one that pushed to have this meeting tonight. So Evangelism of Grace, they called our office, and they said, we don't care if 3 people come out, they need the information, please set up the meeting. So I thank you for coming out. Unfortunately, Senator Harris cannot be here tonight. I also want to let you know we just moved into our new location. So we're in this building. We're in Suite 403. So if you're looking for us, if you went to the old office and there was a sign on the door saying we're in transition, we're now in this suite. We're now in the U.S. Bank building in Suite 403. I also definitely want to thank Dana Pointer. She was excellent working with us to set this up. She made it seamless for us, and we want to thank you very much for doing that. Okay.
Thank you, guys, and don't forget to turn your forms in, all right? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we would just like to say on behalf of Evangelism of Grace, we want to give all of our speakers a great round of applause. Everyone. And we want to thank each of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight and share. Even your questions were phenomenal. Thank you so much. We hope that you'll join us again in our next community meeting, which will be held right here on December 5th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And as we continue to move forward in our planning, you will have a lot more time to provide your input about the community. And we want to try to build our communities together. Amen? Just a few steps to remember before we adjourn. First, please complete the Evangelism of Grace information form. And Sister Nancy is holding one up now if you did not complete that. And the reason we ask that you do that is so that we can keep you informed of all of our future planning events. Second, spread the word. Tell others about the Evangelism of Grace and how we're trying to work together to build a community. Also, if you have not registered to vote, or if you haven't registered to vote, please register to vote. Or if you've recently moved, encourage others to get registered. Please get registered. And again, we want to thank each of you for joining us in this collective effort to transform our communities, and we look forward to seeing you at our next meeting when? December 5th, right here at 6 p.m. And last but not least, we're going to have prayer by Nancy McDaniel. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have our closing prayer by Dwight Taylor. We changed on you. Thank you.
Let every heart pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to thank you for this event, Lord. Bless all the speakers, bless everyone that attended, Father God. We thank you for this information. We thank you for traveling mercies, Lord, and for blessing all of the communities represented here, Father God. And we're always mindful to give you the praise, glory, and all of the honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.